Next team on our list, it is the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders, the team that hosted the NFL draft. They didn't have a lot of picks. Gonna be honest, they didn't have a lot of picks. They spent all their picks really on the acquisition of Davante Adams. But this is their big three. And a player I want to point out here before we get into our GPAs is the drafting and the selection of Zamir White, the running back out of Georgia. Right before the draft, the Las Vegas Raiders came out and declined not one, not two, but all three of their first-round picks from the draft with Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Abram, and what was that guy? The Farrell from their high pick that ended up being a bust. They ended up declining those Cleveland Farrell. They ended up declining all those fifth-year options, though. Josh Jacobs was one of those fifth-year options. Zamir White, I'm not saying is going to be in there to replace Josh Jacobs, but I wanted to get your thoughts on Zamir White before we get into our GPAs and whether or not you think he could come in and be the future running back for the Las Vegas Raiders.
I mean, so it kind of goes into what you were just saying, how the running back position is being viewed as disposable. I think with Josh Jacobs, though, it might be something where they decline this option and move forward, see how he's been banged up his entire career. He's fought through it a lot. And while you are appreciative of that, if he's not going to be that 100% guy, are you ready to give him the contract that he probably would deserve? I don't know if that's the case. Zamir White is a talented running back, as talented as they come. And we know what Georgia has been pumping out of the running backs since back with Todd Gurley. And he fits that bill. He's quick, he's fast, he can cut, he's versatile. And if he can come in and show that, because as good as Kenyon Drake is, we've seen the last three teams he was on use him in a very limited role. So I don't think that that's something that they're looking at. If Josh Jacobs isn't the guy, it's going to be a Kenyon Drake. So Zamir White has a chance to come in here day one and at least be used as a big rotation piece. And we also talked about running backs by committee and how a lot of teams are doing that now as well. So they don't just bust up their running backs and are in the same situation for the next draft.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think what the Raiders have with Josh J, it is that. It is just that. The running back position is replaceable. You might not be able to find the exact same success, but you get a Zamir White in here, and he could do – I'm not saying he's going to do the exact same numbers as Josh Jacobs, but you're going to be able to get a serviceable running back out of Zamir White, in my opinion. Our GPAs, though, I think there's a discrepancy. Got him at 2.2.
Oof.
You got him at 2.4. And why I said that there's a discrepancy here is we just had the Chiefs as in the threes, high threes, mid to high threes here. Dropping the Raiders down to 2.4 and 2.2. Is this really just because their draft they didn't have enough picks in the high rounds, or was it because they didn't hit on these picks?
That's a part of it. I think at first you do question the running back situation because, the reports came out that they really liked Kenyon Drake. That's why they made the move for him last season. And we know what Josh Jacobs brings to the table. And then Neil Farrell, in the fourth round, it's a good spot for him. But I don't know if the production is going to be there at the level we would expect from a guy who had LSU, who went to LSU. And again, I can't help but say this, and I know it's a bad excuse, but I talk about with almost every LSU player in this draft. What went on in LSU last season was not indicative of that program. I mean, it sucks to say for Edo because, he got them with that national championship and the wonderful squad that they had, but it was a complete down drop. To go from that height of a team to what they had to do for the last two seasons at that point, everyone was just bought out. And I think that has some of the question marks on if these players are going to come into the league and be able to get back to where they were when they were winning championships and the year after thinking they were going to be able to do the same thing. And then, the other part is we didn't talk about the back end of these grades. These GPAs also count with the round 5 picks and the round 7 picks. And some of those guys grabbing another running back and Britton Brown and the tackle Thayard Munford. I mean, they're round 7 guys that you don't really expect to make the roster. And those are just rounds that are going to drop anyone's grade because honestly the Chiefs grade could have been higher without those bottom picks too. So in my humble opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then that to me, I feel like is what really is the difference with like the Raiders GPA and the Chiefs GPA. And I'm sure Raiders fans are watching this. I don't give a shit about what GPA you gave us. We got Davante Adams. We got Derek Carr. I don't give a shit what you say our GPA is. The draft don't matter. In the words of the Rams, F them picks. But I will bring up one player here, and I'm surprised you didn't bring this guy out. Weren't you a Dylan Parham guy before the draft?
Hey, I liked him. I wanted to leave you something.
Okay. So I was very happy about this Dylan Parham pick. I think this is a great pick for the Las Vegas Raiders. Obviously, a need for them. And when we were doing our draft rankings and our mock drafts, and Aaron did his 7-round mock, he had Dylan Parham going in the back end of the second round. Where the Raiders got him at pick 90, that is a good spot for Dylan Parham, a 4-year starter. He could play either guard or tackle. Every lineman in this draft could play both. A lot of experience at the guard, though. I think he's going to be a solid guard for the Las Vegas Raiders. He's got good hands. It's just his size. His size. That's the biggest thing. His size. He feels like a small guard. Like when you watch him, it's like, he's too tight. He's too small.
Yeah.
Maybe
you're hoping that his athleticism can overshadow some of his size issues. But also, if you're talking about giving the big boy a license to eat when he gets in the league, and I don't think that's going to be a problem. Honestly, I think if you want, I guess the best way to feel about the Raiders draft for the grade, it feels like this was the only pick they really cared about. They was like, we needed a guard. We needed a lineman. Even though we've had a good line for the better part of the last couple of years, we need another lineman. We need some talent in that position. And then we'll go and add some pieces that we think can help us in the future. So that might kind of be where I'm at on the Raiders as a grading scale, so to speak, for lack of better words and off the dome speaking.
Words are hard. Words are hard.
They are.
So the Raiders get a 2.4 and a 2.2